So for today, my second pet peeve is when you, okay, so this happened one time. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in a vlog before, but let's get down the story and then that'll kind of explain my pet peeve. Okay, so this child was in the store, and I'm assuming it was grandma. So the little child may have been, I don't even think the child was a year old. If the child was, he was a fresh year-old baby. He just looked really, really young. And then they had the older sibling that could have been about 3 or 4 actually standing up in the car. And the baby was just crying. And I could tell that the baby was crying because it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We were at Hobby Lobby and the child was tired. I mean, it was clear. You could tell the tears and everything. It was just tears. I mean, it was just crying. Where I'm tired. I'm tired of being out. I'm tired of... And so the baby was just uncontrollably crying. And I'm assuming grandmother started yelling at the baby. Stop crying! Stop crying! And I finally... Like, your baby can be crying and you can be really upset. And it can be that it's just having a bratty moment. Or it can be that it was really tired. For that one, the tears were, I'm tired. And sometimes you have to let them cry while you're out shopping. You just have to, because you're a single parent. You have to get it done. To me, Hobby Lobby was not necessarily one of those I have to. If it had been in the grocery store, Walmart, I would have been like, yeah, I understand. But the fact is, like, screaming at the child, what is that going to do besides make it more upset because it fills your stress? So after hearing her through about half the store for like a good 15-20 minutes, I was just like, look, if you take him home and you put him to bed, you probably won't even make it home. He'll stop crying. He's exhausted. And I walked off. Now, most of the time I don't do that with parents. I'm just whatever. But that incident, it was, duh, he's tired. Now, have I had moments where I've had grouchy kids where I didn't understand why they were grouchy? Be like, what is up? And I would be like, okay, you need to cut it out. Tell me what's wrong, or we're going to go sit in the car, because I'm not having you walk in there with the bad attitude. And sometimes that would kick off something else. And sometimes they would stop. And I did learn the older I got that, like, some kids are very big into needing snacks. They don't necessarily need nap time, but they need quiet time. And some kids, they need snacks, more snacks through the day, because of their metabolism. Where, for me, my siblings, when they were really young, they weren't really big. Well, they were snackers, but they also, when we were out and about, they just kind of went with it. And so they didn't, if they missed their nap time, it was fine. Most of the time it was fine once they hit about 3 or 4. And if they went a period of time, like 2 or 3 hours without having a snack, they were fine. But some other kids, they just can't do that. Like, they need their nap, or they need to rest at least. And so it was really a struggle, especially when I was with other people's kids, like, trying to learn their routine. And sometimes they're just having a bratty day, or they're just in a bad mood. I mean, sometimes flat, you're in a bad mood that day, and it's kind of hard as parents to realize that. But then sometimes I'm like, if I'm in a bad mood, they're in a bad mood. But the yelling, screaming at people yelling and screaming at their sleepy child, it's like, well, this is your fault. There have been times where this happened in Walmart one time, and I was trying to be so understanding, but I was like, okay, so I really feel like I'm not exaggerating. Almost every other aisle, there was a screaming, crying child. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, I was trying to be understanding, like, you know what? It's a mom or it's a dad. I bet they're a single dad, or I bet they work a lot, and this is the only time they can get out, and they have to take the child. And so as I was going through the store, I was like trying to be understanding. Then there would be like a spot where there would be like couples. And I was like, really? Why couldn't y'all have stayed home with the child? Some kids, they do really good staying out late. Some kids, they don't. And this day, at this night, it was like a Sunday night. I was like, I was like, I remember texting someone going, I'm trying to be so understanding, but right now I'm like, just take them home. Which is nice now, because now, this was like 6 years ago. Now we have, you know, H-E-B has pickup. Walmart has pickup. Walmart ships food. H-E-B ships food. Like, we have so many different things out there to help us. So it makes, you know, parenting easier. I feel like it makes parenting easier because you can get in and out and your kid doesn't have to be in the grocery store. But yeah, so I don't know. It was crazy. I mean, honestly, it was really, really crazy. And I felt, you know, some of them I was like, okay, why don't one parent shop? And if you have to go together, fine, you have to go together. But one parent shop, and the other one go sit in the car with the kid. Like, it wasn't hot that day. It wasn't, you know. So it's really hard. And some people I will like walk up and just smile and say, you're doing a good job. Just keep it up. And some people I'm like, go take that child to sleep. So I don't know, that is a pet peeve. Like, your kid is clearly tired and you're sitting there yelling. I think if you miss that your child is tired, like, you're thinking, okay, I don't understand why you're crying. And that can be, you can miss it. I've missed the signs. You can miss the signs. But I think my pet peeve is you yelling at the child. Like, they're going to be like, okay, you dummy, I'm tired. Like, they're 6 months old. They're not going to understand. Or they're a year old or whatever. I think when they're about 3, yeah, they need to start telling you why they're crying. Like, stop crying. Calm them down and be like, why are you crying? Sometimes they still don't understand. Because she looked at me and it was like, no, because you're tired. And sometimes they'll deny it because they really don't want to nap. But that was one of my pet peeves. One time, I was out with my sister and my niece, and she was just so fussy. And a lot of it, I think back, she was teething. I can't for sure remember everything. And so I think that's why she was, because it wasn't really late in the evening or anything. So we were out looking for stuff for her. And she was like, nothing we were doing. Well, this sweet lady had found this app. And it was this piano app. And I still have this app today. Where it allows your child to, like, play the piano. And, like, you can hit another button and it'll play it for them. And they can just dance or whatever. And she was telling me about this app. And she was like, she had the app. And she handed the app to my niece, who was maybe 18 months old time. And she was, like, showing her how to do it. And she was telling me how to download it. So I was downloading it immediately. And she's like, this always helps when you have just a little cranky one, and nothing you do makes them happy. And I was like, thank you so much. And I think her way of doing it was different than some other people's way of, like, yelling and stuff at the kid. But she just kind of was like, I have this app. Like, this works with my grandkids. And I was like, that's so awesome. And it has. And honestly, that app, it was a free app to download. Every phone I've gotten, it's comes straight along with it. Okay, so it's called My Baby Piano. You're gonna see all kind of stuff on my phone. So it's called My Baby Piano. It is a free app, and the kids can play it. I have it on my niece's side of it. So basically, and then you can hit the buttons where it does it. And then you can add. And then you can pause it when you need to. So it can be a loud app. And sometimes we'll have to turn it down. But I like how it says do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then it has the symbol. So they are learning, like, they are seeing something that can, like, catch their attention and everything. But I do like this. But when that lady came up, it was like, oh, you're so sweet. And then she played it and played it and played it. I think almost until my phone died. But there are different things. And I think because we live in a world where, yes, your child may be tired and stuff, that you, instead of yelling, try to think of something. And sometimes you're just standing there with the crying child until you can figure it out. But I think yelling is, like, the worst thing. And sometimes we'll be like, what is wrong? And it happens. But, like, consistently yelling through the store, I was like, take the child home.